I'm a man who believed that I died 20 years ago, and I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Gary Webb. I am an investigative journalist, and in 1996 I wrote a series of stories entitled Dark Alliance, which was about CIA involvement in drug trafficking.
Are you a man who once said death smiles at us all? All a man can do is smile back.
We've both been skull and bone, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
wild.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the rest.
Number 322.
I have duty to report this afternoon that my friend and colleague, Tim Russert, collapsed and died early this afternoon.
I may die in this cell tonight or in the arena tomorrow. I am a slave. What possible difference can I make?
And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Welcome back, Artie Deadheads. I'm here. I'm alive. I have not become one of the dead. We have plenty to go through. I hope you guys did okay. I left you in good hands with Jacob last week. It sounds like I check your comments. You guys hurt my feelings. I know a lot of you prefer he takes my place one day, maybe, but not this day. Not this day. I am back. I've taken my role. You guys can keep crying. I don't care. I do a little bit. It hurts my feelings. But Austin, glad to be back with you. Man, it's probably good I took a week the week off, as I was telling you before. I had a lot of stuff going on, but man, it has been an utterly schizophrenic past couple weeks. Hard to process it all. How are you holding up? I didn't even watch last week's episode, so I don't know if you were in full-on meltdown or what. But it looks like they're eating babies, buddy.
Yeah. Hey. It seems like Pizzagate has never been more credible and reinforced and vindicated in a way, and also as far as just like, oh yeah, don't take it personal, Jose. Everybody loves you, brother. You know, you already know that. As far as my audience is concerned, the vast majority seem to appreciate our dynamics. So there's something about just as far as like the overwhelming nature of this very moment with the Epstein files and the release of them, and obviously seemingly the removal of many of them as well, which is slowly happening over time. And I think people are at least hopefully there's archived versions of these original source documents that were provided by the DOJ. But I mean, if we're to believe the fact that obviously the DOJ has now announced they're no longer going to release the rest of the files, and apparently they released a total of like 3.5 to 3.6 million files, and this is only half. But then I'm seeing people make the case that this is actually only 2% of the total data, and if you look at it,
no,
FBI,
Austin, that's all of it. This is all of it. Alex Jones told me we dropped all of it.
right. Hey, I'm just saying, imagine what they're actually holding back if that is the case, considering how damning.
You are aware of that. I'm not trying to cut you off here, but you're aware that did happen, right? That Alex Jones and a few other influencers literally the day before the most recent letter was dropped, they literally said that, he just dropped millions more or whatever. Did you not see that?
No, I don't think I saw it.
Oh, shit. Holy fuck, that was one of the most bald-faced, like, corrupt influencer things I think I've ever seen. Today, I literally, this morning on the morning show, I sat there and grappled with how it even makes sense, because it looks like it was one of those things where it, like, you know, clearly somebody had an inline with somebody in the administration and probably put out something, but I don't know if you saw the most recent release from Bondi. She put out, like, a 6-page letter And it kind of was literally, it seemed like some legal language, but the long and short of it seemed like it was kind of the idea was that like, hey, this is all of it. This is all the files. Like that's kind of like and it did this weird thing too, where like 3 of the pages were just like a list of all of like this was almost their way of like a flex of like, see, we're not hiding from the powerful people in here. Here's a list of anyone even tangentially mentioned in the files. And so it's like completely feeding into this hysteria nonsense. But but before that was dropped, there were influencers, Alex Jones being the chief among them. Like he went on Fresh and Fit and announced, there's like a clip. I might have to hunt it down for you because I almost need to see your reaction.
Absolutely, dude. That sounds insane.
Threw it off, but it's he literally has announced like, oh, this is just in. Trump's released them all. And he even gave this weird scenario about how like, he's going to fire them. He's mad at Lutnick. He's mad at like Bondi, and like talking about how he's like people are getting ready to get fired. Meanwhile, as that's happening, you have Catherine Leavitt saying that like, no. He fully supports Lutnick. He like also puts out some truth talking about how Bondi's appearance in Congress was amazing and yada yada yada.
Oh my god!
But meanwhile, Alex Jones is spinning this yarn about how like behind the scenes he's going to fire everybody, and he also was releasing all of the files. He literally said that. He literally said that. Like they're releasing it all without redactions. Blah 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 blah. And then literally by the next day, he had to put out like, "Oh my bad," like, and like I don't even know how to like good faith try to understand how that happened. Like the best I can come up with is that they're in some group chat, some of these shitty influencers, and they got some sort of unofficial like presser type thing from these people, and they kind of because even then there's the additional, a lot of these people have the same exact words in their tweets and shit. A lot of people point like very distinct words. And so yeah, it's crazy. I'm gonna have to find that video for you because it is absolutely astounding. But yeah, it was complete bullshit. All that was dropped. I think the mix-up, if I was trying to understand best, is that somebody in the administration, this is a best case scenario, gave them some sort of like, hey, we dropped all the files, and that has a dual meaning. Meaning, if you see that 6 pages that Bonnie put out, it kind of is saying that, hey, we dropped all the files. This is all the files. Fuck you. But at the same time, you have like Alex Jones and like Gunther Eagleman and all these gay little influencers that are going, they dropped all the files. They dropped all the files without redactions. Oh my God. I've even heard word that like, oh, this is even darker than the rest. Blah, 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 just spinning yarns upon yarns. And then come to find out it's just 6 pages from Bondi. It's actually really a masterclass in just complete. I mean, if there is no doubt, Alex Jones is controlled op. I mean, if you ever were... There's no question about it at this point. It's so beyond the pale of like, I need to in any way prove this out.
That's exactly what I was about to say, is that this, fully confirms or reconfirms and reinforces the notion that AJ's been compromised for, a very long time at this point. And I think that is very obvious and self-evident as of now. And to see him bend the knee during the Sandy Hook show trial, that alone was something to behold, right? And if you really do consider this limited fallout that we have witnessed, which we were discussing privately, just in regard to last week, how we talked about Howard Lutnick and proved how just absolutely corrupt and what a deceptive lizard person he actually is, in terms of obviously claiming in this very theatrical way that he and his wife had this like moral and ethical sort of rejection of Epstein because of how much it was so clear and obvious that he was some sort of sinister abuser. But then in 2012, because that effectively happened in 2005 or something, or 2002, I can't remember. And then in 2012, he's arranging a lunch or a dinner at Epstein's private island and offering up like 8 children to him. And then you have a little bit additional fallout as far as like,
business together too.
Yeah, exactly. And
then he also Epstein donated $50,000 to a dinner in the name of Howard Lutnick. So like one of those like kind of charity dinners, type thing where you have these. So yeah, and then there's also they traded a nanny or something like that at some point. Right. So there's also to add to it, there was talks of like getting drinks in some of the emails and stuff. So a little bit more of a social connection. So yeah, this is Lucky Lutnick for those who forget. this is the guy
Absolutely.
that managed to escape 9/11 and gave a bunch of alligator tears about all of the people he worked with dying.
100%, man.
So which whatever. I mean, I guess lucky him. You know, he escaped that tragic fate. It's weird
Man.
how it worked out for him so well.
Yeah, seriously, but it's unbelievable at this point, and you consider the additional strange, and obviously it's a little bit speculative, but it's hard not to notice, like the CEO of Chuck E. Cheese stepping down and surrounding this, and having even a connection to the Ohio State University sex scandal as well, which seems to be affecting the dean of students and the people in charge of the, just as far as the leadership of the university, who are very much, you know, in bed with Les Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein directly, as far as even contributing to the university itself. But, you know, before we get into that at all, I just wanted to make one last point on just the additional files that are apparently in the FBI, you know, just as far as the FBI apparently holds approximately 14.6 terabytes of archived data related to Epstein. And to date, the DOJ has only released 300 gigs worth of files. So this is apparently 2% of the total amount of files that they have in their possession. So if that's the truth, which it seemingly is, according to all the information that has been made public as of now, then yeah, it's impossible to take any of this at face value. And not only that, imagine the disturbing corroborating evidence that could exist in the remaining files that are never going to be made public unless, you know, for there's some sort of Julian Assange type whistleblower that that gets a hacked leak or something like that, right? Which obviously it's usually a thumb drive, Seth Rich. But yeah, I just there was one interesting like minute clip where I thought you would find it strange, because obviously it's a little bit of a rundown, but it's for one, you have Trump claiming that he's been totally exonerated by the files that have been made public. And again, I feel like the damage control aspect of this alleged minimal accountability that we have witnessed in terms of the fallout, which is basically none, they could sort of frame in a real way, utilizing the mouthpieces in the mainstream media to act as if there is some sort of fault, you know, consequence and result coming down in terms of the transparency that the Trump administration has brought forward, which is laughable. But again, it's something that is worth, at the very least, considering, you know, that they are employing strategically upon us in this very psyop season, which is apparently nonstop and unrelentless, you know, or relentless and unrelenting, I should say. But
by the way, I forgot to mention, I think it's been up for about 5-10 minutes now. I think the phone lines are back up, 1-833-722-DEAD. That's where you guys can call us in, 1-833-722-3323. Austin, I actually also have lined up, if you do want to check it out real quick, the Alex Jones clip. And then also, which is actually one. There was actually, he went on his, it wasn't even just the Fresh and Fit one. He also, there's another clip where he put out like a 3-4 minute video on his channel, on his X. Like a big, like, hey, this is Alex Jones. This is big. This is like one of those, like a whole video for it. So 2 separate ones. Like it was 2 separate things. So it is kind of astounding. But this is the Fresh and Fit one, which is, I think, what most people caught on to. But there's also one with just himself. But yeah, he announced that, yeah, they dropped it all. And also, I don't know if this will catch all of it, but this also goes into this imagined scenario about what's going on in the background. And then I'll show you also what really actually happened, these so-called files. I do have the documents lined up. We can just peer at them real quick so I can show you what it is. But let's go and play this.
This morning, he said, "You're all fired." This is people in the meeting.
Wow.
He said, "You're all fired." He said, "I want," by the way, behind the scenes, Trump used to cuss some. He also, you see when he's hoarse, he goes, "I'm sorry, I'm a screaming bull." He said, "Listen, motherfuckers, I'm sick of being tied to this shit. I'm the one that dropped a dime on him 18 years ago. He goes, you're all fucking fired if it isn't fucking released. Do you fucking understand me? They released the whole list of anybody in his files. They released 3 million more files, and Trump said, I will fire every goddamn one of you. Because they came to him and said, sir, they say your wife's a hooker. All this stuff that was all recycled from 9-10 years ago, which I said it was, and it came out. They said his wife's a hooker. We're Epstein. That wasn't true. He had a modeling agency that she was at. She wasn't at that. So they were fucking with him and telling him, you don't want to do this. They tricked him, and now Trump went thermonuclear. He finally listened to us. He finally listened to Roger Stone and others, and this is historic. And I'm told, Congressman Tim Burchett and others have said, they have already been access to this, okay? And they said, if you think the Satanism and the cannibalism and the blood drinking is bad and what you saw before, they said what is in these new files is going to shake everybody. And they warned you, don't even look at it if you don't want to have nightmares.
All right, guys, don't even look at this. Turn away because you're going to get nightmares. I'll show you what dropped right here. It only shows 4 of these pages.
Oh my God.
But here's 6 pages from Pam Bondi. Actually, not Pam Bondi. It's technically Todd Blanche. It was under his authority. It's got his signature at the end. So the vice, whatever, attorney general, the deputy attorney general, not vice. But some legal language. If you read it, it kind of sounds like yada yada. They gave some excuses. On the other pages, it's not included in this one. I have this infographic I have for you guys here. But kind of going into, we released this, we redacted for these reasons, and we never did it for embarrassment, and you're kind of holding the company line and all of it, and being like, we released it all, and kind of giving their legal explanation for why, and then also finishing it off with a list here, listing anyone basically in any way, shape, or form related to any of this. Like, the first thing I name is Bono. Alex Jones himself is actually on this list. So this is the most, I cannot imagine just giving a pure list of all the names on it and thinking this is anything at all other than trying to muddy the waters. Yeah. But yeah, it's got everybody and their mother on this list. This is the horrifying thing that Alex Jones is talking about. So I want your thoughts. Right. That's astounding, right? I mean, I don't know. He literally was saying they dropped them all, and it was a 6-page letter. But so you got completely rickrolled by the administration.
It's hard not to think that someone's almost attempting to potentially damage his credibility from behind the scenes. But just as far as a conceptually as a possibility. Yeah, made it real easy, AJ. My God, but it doesn't seem to be very much something he's concerned with. Obviously, by now, if that's not clear. But yeah, I just think if you see that from day one, I mean, from the Epstein binders, phase 1, right? What have we been saying? This is false transparency. Right. This is in no way an actual, in my opinion, it's an orchestrated shit code to some extent. And I think basically, if you see the limited hangout very much by design, then obviously what we have been largely focusing on are the more extraordinary aspects of the emails and things of that nature, which for the most part are fundamentally just, not actually a proof of anything in terms of, legitimate and hard evidence to make a case moving forward for any of the perpetrators to be held accountable. And I think that's also by design, and they could easily, and we've made this point before, now a couple of different times, as far as this seems to be an intentional conflation into that conspiratorial realm in the line of Pizzagate, in terms of what the general public would be willing to accept or even be willing to consider. And I think as soon as you enter that territory of ritualistic sacrifice and cannibalism and things of that nature, then many people, for the sake of ignorance is bliss, and remaining in that low frequency level of interpretation of the power paradigm, will hope to remain there and somehow latch on to a false narrative that will easily justify the two-party paradigm and their savior and God complex that they can't seem to overcome. And that's what I just consistently see play out in every cycle of the media spotlight, and whichever thing is taking the priority in the day. it's just a matter of time, and the short memory, as we've said too often, is just extraordinary to witness firsthand, just to see so many people fall victim to the memory hole, and not in any way seem to just be able to identify who the true power brokers are. And that's why they're wrapped up in the political puppets and the pageantry behind, they're not focused on the puppeteers, the puppet masters that are the actual power cabal that are effectively, this is a pedophile occupied government, obviously. But at the same time, it's like, imagine what their handlers and legitimate, just as in terms of like who owns Donald Trump. I've said since the 80s, it's the Rothschilds, honestly, as far as like Rupert Murdoch and all these people coming out and basically vindicating that as the case, and making that very clear that this person, whenever you tie him to Meyer Lansky's criminal syndicate and the kosher mafia and Roy Cohn as a mentor, it's just impossible to even imagine they didn't purposely insert him into this revelation of the method sort of social fabric to affect the subconscious nature of the general public. You know how many progressives during the Celebrity Apprentice that I know, and friends with, and even family who loved Donald Trump. They couldn't miss an episode during that era. And then as soon as he made his political bid and had this rebrand and went into the conservative Republican political profile that he was meant to embrace, then you just saw this instant kind of inability to even reflect back on how they once viewed this individual, and that's fascinating to me just in general, but check this out, bro. This is so crazy. I wanted to show you this as soon as I saw it. Now, obviously, this is mainstream media coverage, but I think it's important to see how they're kind of framing a lot of this. And oh my God! And I have to tell you, Sam showed on whatever this is. He showed basically how Grok mistook Riley Reid, the porn star, for Erica Kirk. And it was just he's like, I'm not really that concerned about
same
AI.
Dead eyes. Same dead eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Same mind control programming.
That might be a little bit more revealing than I first but yeah, check this out. It's crazy.
Department of Justice.
Oh my God, it's muted. Is it muted?
I can hear it.
Can you? Dude, I can't.
Department of Justice says it will not release any more documents from the Jeffrey Epstein files, sparking backlash from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. The DOJ insists it released everything required by law in its latest 3 million-page batch. No arrests have been made since. ABC's Christian Cordero has the latest.
After months of legal challenges, millions of pages released, and 0 new arrests, today the Department of Justice says it has shared everything it needs to on the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. The DOJ sent a letter to Congress amid bipartisan backlash defending its handling of the Epstein files and insisting no records were withheld or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. It argues some names appear in the files in a wide variety of contexts. Several lawmakers have gone to the DOJ to see the unredacted files firsthand, questioning why the department blacked out the names of some powerful men, but made some names and personal information of Epstein survivors public. Democratic Congressman Robert Garcia on CBS.
This is a massive cover-up being led by the White House and the DOJ.
Are you going to pause real quick?
Even some Republicans.
With the Les Wexner thing, you saw how they got. There was one of those. I think there was actually one of those ones that they had out and they pulled real quick. There was that one document that they had out on the files initially, and it was the one that listed the co-conspirators, but then it redacted them. So and then so people found that real quick, and they were like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And Massey and Ro Khanna were kind of made a thing of it, like they and they allowed Congress to go see these unredacted ones. So they went to go see that, and I think. I may be remembering wrong, but those may have actually been redacted, and they may have had. But either way, there was like 2 layers of redactions. Yeah. So but either way, they were able to push that, and then they later unredacted, And there was actually like a good back and forth with Bondi and Massey on this, because she tried to be like, and we did that for you, and you're like, yeah, after we caught you.
Exactly, caught you red-handed. Yeah, I did. I watched that as well. Honestly, I tried to play it yesterday on the Pizzagate episode with JJ, but there was no fucking way that we were gonna get through it. We were going schizo on Pizzagate. It was too much. But as far as the full clip, but it was, I thought just that interaction beyond the ridiculous clip of the anti-Semitic, interaction that she had, calling out anti-Semitism to this woman who's like claims to have Holocaust survivors and victims of the Holocaust in her own family.
How dare you? I am a Jew.
And then that Asian guy as well was like, basically, I thought that was a little weak in terms of what he was trying to do, but also it was a good moment to have publicly, and in terms of for just the general public to be able to try and internalize it, and still claiming that he caught her, she should resign on the spot because he caught her lying, under oath, essentially, which I thought was, but again, that was the most unimpressive performance I've ever witnessed in my life. And this is the
Nadler back and forth is probably my favorite, just because Nadler physiognomy wise looks like he should be 100% on her team, like in the bag, and he's just like, she's getting cooked by the goblin from Gringotts and Harry Potter. So like, it I don't know, something about that's funny to me. Which I don't remember exactly what he got her on, but pretty much everybody cooked her. It was pretty crazy seeing the conservative influencers trying to run with that, trying to be like, ooh. Even the people were like, there was a couple I saw where they tried to take that Massey back and forth, where she goes, he has Trump derangement syndrome, and then there's all these I see all these posts that are like, oh, Bondi's had it with Massey, and so it's like they almost have to take on this weird effeminate, like, dumb, like, while trying to
housewives shit,
yeah, it's weird to try to make it out like, look how Bondi's just destroying the competition. Like, it's just bizarre, which anyone with eyes and ears and I don't know, a relative, a room temperature IQ is like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, no kidding, man. But my favorite part of this clip is, and it's almost over, is the Donald Trump, obviously the portion where he is addressing the media and essentially claims that the files that have been released have exonerated him, and then even comments on that of Hillary Clinton, which I figured we would have to just at least mention for a brief moment in passing, but her reaction was too funny not to notice.
You have the administration.
Oh no, you're good.
I was just gonna say you have that clip ready. Sorry.
Yeah, I do.
Cool. Then we can watch that next. Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome.
Representative Nancy Mace writing, this isn't going away until people go to jail.
Donald Trump told us that even though, he had dinner with these kinds of people in New York City and West Palm Beach, that he would be transparent, but he's not.
Representative Thomas Massey, also a Republican, has long called for more transparency, and following a combative hearing on Capitol Hill with Attorney General Pam Bondi,
40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
Massey over the weekend told ABC's Martha Raddatz he isn't confident the AG will deliver.
She wasn't confident enough to engage in anything but name-calling in a hearing. And so, no, I don't have confidence in her.
Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
So far, just one person associated with Jeffrey Epstein is serving prison time, his female co-conspirator and convicted sex offender, Ghislaine Maxwell.
By the way, I want to take a second to address some super chats real quick, maybe give you a second to bring up that other clip. Boomer Sooner, Feed the Kitties Fund, thank you, brother, for the $2. I'm assuming that's to me since it's the kitty reference. For those who are unaware, this streams out to both me and Austin's platforms. Austin with the Underclass podcast, me with the No Way Jose podcast. Both of ours on YouTube, Rumble, and we put them out on audio podcatchers as well. And X over at I'm at Tower Gang Jose. Austin's what are you? At Theater Thug
AWP. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And then I also got Lumpy Camel. $5, appreciate it. 25,000 serial numbers missing between 1999 to 2001, allegedly. They're not releasing that shit. I don't know what serial numbers you're referring to. Does that ring a bell, Austin?
No,
I'm sorry. I appreciate the funds, but I wish I could address your statement a little bit more. But I'm actually not sure what you're referring to. Maybe if I had a little more specificity, I would. I'm not
right.
I look into a lot of things, so but I don't know. Appreciate it though. Glad to have you here. But yeah, I don't know if you. There we go. Let's roll right into the next one.
Oh yeah.
Related to Jeffrey Epstein. We're going to get to the latest reporting on that, and then we'll go to the life and legacy of.
We'll only listen to like 3 minutes of the clip because that captures basically the whole thing, but it was very important.
Reverend Jesse Jackson. But we reported yesterday on the letter sent to Congress on Saturday by Attorney General Pam Bondi announcing the Justice Department has released all of those files, claiming it has fulfilled its obligations under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. The letter also outlined its justification for the redactions made in the released files, explaining they were limited to victim privacy, including personally identifiable information and medical details. And it included a list of more than 300, quote, politically exposed people whose names appear in the files in varying contexts, including Donald Trump, former President Bill Clinton, and other politicians, business people, and artists. When asked about the Epstein files aboard Air Force One last night, President Trump claimed the released materials proved he had been cleared of any wrongdoing.
I have nothing to hide. I've been exonerated. I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. They went in hoping that they'd find it and found just the opposite. I've been totally exonerated. In fact, Jeffrey Epstein was fighting that I don't get elected with some author, a sleazebag, by the way. And I've been totally exonerated. No, they're getting pulled in, and that's their problem. I don't know. They're going to have to see what happens. But I watched her in Munich, and she seriously has Trump derangement syndrome. I've been totally exonerated on Epstein, and it's really interesting because they've been pulled in. Think of it. They've been pulled in. Clinton and many other Democrats have been pulled in.
As for the Clintons, Hillary Clinton is accusing the Trump administration of slow walking and covering up the release of the Epstein files. In a new interview, Hillary Clinton told the BBC the White House must, quote, get the files out. She agreed that everyone asked to testify should do so too.
I think everybody should testify who is asked to testify. I just want it to be fair. I want everybody treated the same way. That's not true for my husband and me because other witnesses were asked to testify. They gave written statements under oath. We offered that. They want to pull us. Why did they want to pull us into this? To divert attention from President Trump.
This interview comes as both Clinton and her husband, former President Bill Clinton, are set to appear before the House Oversight Committee at the end of this month after a planned contempt vote was shelved. Bill Clinton, several times in the files, was acquainted with Epstein, but says he cut off contact 2 decades ago. Neither Clinton has been accused of any wrongdoing, and both have denied knowledge of Epstein's offenses at the time. So, Joe, again here, you have James Comer and other Republicans walking into this where this will be thrown wide open. Obviously, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton want to testify in public, so it really can be out in the open. Still working on that, but as of now, behind closed doors. But James Comer going back and picking at this scab, a thing you heard you heard President Trump say, I want to move on. I've been exonerated. I don't know that you would use that term. He hasn't been accused of wrongdoing specifically here, but he wants to move on.
He wants to move on, Jose.
Yeah, let's let him move on. Did you catch any of the other Hillary stuff? I caught some other clips.
I didn't. One other clip that I thought was my favorite. From
do you have it
Hillary
ready? Is this the one where she addresses the hot tub and stuff?
Yes.
Okay, then that's perfect. No need to present anything here. We can just go ahead and play. I was just gonna reference that one because I thought there were some interesting tidbits in this that was worth hashing over. But let's go ahead and play.
Absolutely. I felt like at least that beginning portion though of how she was attempting to frame it, both her and Trump, right? As far as like almost using each other as a way to distance themselves and reframe this for their own base. Or just ideologically speaking, in terms of Hillary, obviously she's not running for anything in terms of public office, but still, she has a lot to lose here.
Sorry. The biggest takeaway I think from these two clips you'll see though is that like, because they're getting ready to come testify, is that nothing's going to come of this. This is there.
Right.
I mean, you might get some embarrassing, kind of cool moments like we did from Bondi and Massey and all, or the Bondi hearing or whatever. But like I know, like for those who watch Tim Dillon's show, he recently, when they said they were coming, he made a big joke, and it was pretty funny about the idea that they were just going to go full kamikaze and just say, "Fuck it, we have nothing left to lose," and just like, yeah, that's right, we murdered the babies, we raped the babies, we sacrificed them to Satan or whatever. But I don't think anyone who thought there might have been some sort of interesting, oh my God, some crazy shake up political moment or something from this, and now that they're agreeing, which it's always it's I guess a possibility, sure, but it's seeming very, very much not likely. They're clearly coming to play ball and kind of drag feet and do whatever they got to do to not engage. But this clip will totally prove that out, I think.
Yeah, and it seems very naive at this point to even imagine a world where these people will be brought to justice.
What was your reaction when you saw some of the material that has been released? I'm thinking, for example, of images of your husband apparently in a hot tub in a swimming pool on Epstein's plane. What was your reaction to that? And do you know the context surrounding some of those images?
Absolutely. And it wasn't a hot tub on a plane. It was one of the stops they made to look at philanthropic and charitable work that my husband has done, saving literally millions of lives around the world. It turned out that was done long before there was any public awareness and certainly any conviction of any crime by Jeffrey Epstein. So it was a short period of time that was in pursuit of charitable philanthropic work. A lot of people were traveling at the same time. Many staff members, guests, other supporters of the foundation. If Bill and I had a penny for every person we've taken pictures with, we would be extremely rich today.
And what?
Is that not amazing?
Yep. Just philanthropic ventures. Whatever. We've taken pictures with lots of people. Oh, whatever. Like, which I mean, to be fair, I did say when this came, those pictures dropped in the last batch, where I was kind of like, it is just kind of like a dope, album reel of all these elites, and it's really all just did kind of sort of buff up the claims of their social connections that we already knew. I guess it makes it a little bit more comical in this moment when she tries to obfuscate, but it was pretty damn well established already anyways that like how many times he'd been on planes with them. But I guess it does, at least to like the eyes, you see them relax together, which sure, I guess you could still have those on business trips, I guess theoretically, but something about that shows a level of familiarity that just going on planes with someone you could maybe not obfuscate as much from. So I guess there was some worthwhile something there. I do real quick, the person who super chat earlier, they're clarifying what they're saying here about the 25,000 missing entries. They're talking about actually in the files. Yeah. So there's a documented gap in serial numbers because they are numbered. They're all like EFTA, yada, 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 whatever.
Right.
So I'm guessing that's what they meant by serial numbers. I didn't know if they meant it in like some other context because serial numbers can mean a lot of different things. And I actually don't think I've seen anyone refer to them as serial numbers. I just call them like EFTA numbers or whatever. But I guess it is a serial number all the same. But there's a documented gap in serial numbers from 1999 to 2001 with around 25,000 missing entries withheld for national security.
Wow.
Which,
for national security.
Okay, I realize what I'm glad I revisited this because I smell what you're stepping in now, pal.
Yeah, no doubt.
Maybe luck wasn't all that lucky. Maybe luck had nothing to do with it. So,
right. And if you see all the documentation of all just a significant portion of the files just slowly being removed throughout this entire period of the final release, I mean it's you have to wonder like how in God's name is this allowed under the Epstein Files Transparency Act? I mean, in no way does it seem like, except for the fact that we obviously know the entire political establishment is more than likely compromised by the very network we're peering into from a strange perspective, which I don't think fully outlines exactly what this network represents and how broad. Just in terms of the reach, right? This is transnational. It's essentially something that doesn't recognize national borders, as we've said before, right? And I think I made the point last night that, man, this fits with the same feeling I had with the Concora scandal, where I said, in terms of this enterprise, right, there is no real, it's just honestly one perverse network that leads into the other. And considering Pizzagate and Diddy, just as far as like James Alefantis and then Diddy, and then you have Epstein, and there are so many other examples. The Finders, even Franklin, I think are just one and the same, and the Odyssey Foundation. I mean, how many do we have to name before people begin to take this seriously and think for at least a moment and pause and imagine this is the structured network, and it's far more wide-reaching than you could imagine. And maybe that's why Danny Casolaro called it the octopus, with the tentacles reaching all over the world. If I don't go let my dog out, she's going to keep whining, dude. I got to go let her out real quick. I'll be right back.
Well, we're at you can't wait 5 more minutes. We go to intermission. It's a little too early for intermission. Well, let's just go to intermission early anyways, and that way it doesn't fuck up the flow. So,
awesome. Sounds good.
Jacob, let's go. We'll do early intermission, and we'll bring on patrons. I'm sure we have plenty we can dig into. I want to talk a little bit about that scopolamine kind of blink twice connection, and maybe even like the outside possibility, just maybe an interesting little tidbit to kind of, we were talking about before the show with Epstein and somebody in some film, but anyways, yeah.
Well,
so I thought that was kind of
last point is as far as like, obviously we'll get into the strange drug that Epstein was utilizing on his island apparently, which again, this is how I put it last night to Sam and Brad. I was like, apparently Blink Twice was actually a documentary on Epstein, and I made that direct parallel. Remember when we discussed it on Already Dead, just, I don't know, a month or so ago. It wasn't that long since I watched it. And the goal of like inducing amnesia psychologically into the minds of the victims, who were then abused, obviously, and had a memory loss of the abuse that transpired and things. But yeah, we'll definitely get into that. But I got a jet though. I got to let my dog out.
Jacob, go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage. We'll be back. I know early intermission, guys. We'll go a little bit. We're not. Doesn't mean we're gonna cut it early, but we'll be hanging out with you guys here in a minute. But guys, call in after the break at 1-833-722-3323. Call in. If you're a patron, you can come up on video if you want. I see a few of y'all back there. But all right, go and play it. We'll see.
Based on
But when you speak, you can only ignore. Following the shit that falls from the sky. Go to sleep.
All right, we're back, baby. What's up? What's going on? I keep trying to flip us. There we go. We're back. I don't know if you're trying to do the same thing I was and we were canceling each other out or something. But all right, we're back. Austin took his dog out to go pee. I see some people complaining in the chat. I like that music. It was pretty dope. But yeah, it did seem a little demonic, but it seemed fitting for the occasion. Going
Surrounded
medieval
by
SRA art.
Yeah, surrounded by demons, my friend.
Yeah. But, man, we have plenty to go through. I guess we can start off. You want to talk a little bit about, I guess I can go ahead and bring up these emails that kind of apparently
Epstein had a collection of highly poisonous plants known to produce a drug that blocks free will in its victims. This is obviously referenced in the emails. So you have them pulled up?
I do.
Man,
let me pull them up. There we go.
It's hard not to think this is the devil's breath, right? This is scopolamine in a very real way.
Mm-hmm. Well, this I think it is. It says right here. It says Jeffrey Epstein exchanged emails with photographer Antoine Verglas about a drug called scopolamine. According to the emails, it comes from the borrachero tree and a plant called angel's trumpets. Starts working within minutes and removes free will, wipes memory, and can even kill. Scopolamine does not show up on toxicology reports due to only staying in the body for 5 to 6 hours. Epstein had angel's trumpet plants in a nursery. In the email below, you can see where he's asking his worker to check in on the trumpet. This is literally what happened in the movie Blink Twice. Did it have a different name in the movie Blink Twice or something? Is that I just maybe misunderstand there? When I spoke up?
In the movie, it's basically a specific substance. Again, this is a flower that grows on this private island owned by a tech billionaire that is played by Channing Tatum. I think the character's name is like Slater King or something. But if you remember, whenever I first watched it, the instant connection I made was, okay, well, this is paying homage to Epstein to some extent, right?
I haven't watched the movie, but in my head, I immediately imagine... Because remember, we've talked a little bit about this idea of like Epstein having aura, and I don't know if me and you have retouched on this theme, and it's like, no, he doesn't. If you watch his Bannon interview, he's a fucking loser. And I just think it's funny. What did you say the guy's name's like Slater King or something? Let's be real. That's a cool guy name, and it's Channing Tatum, and he's getting pussy, and he's being awesome, I'm assuming, and then obviously he gets sinister. So the funny thing about that is like, I kind of imagine like Epstein somehow had some part in this, and he's like, yeah, make him have a huge dick and a six pack and be the hottest guy around and make sure he's like super cool in the movie. And in reality, it's like, no, it's this creepy old dude that's just scuzzy that you get instant gross vibes from, that he is nowhere near as fucking cool as he thinks he is.
Yeah.
And if you're if you're an intelligent person, and you don't even mean to have to be that intelligent, I don't think I'm a genius. If you watch that Bannon interview, I do feel like most of our audience probably beats the IQ test where they go, this guy's fucking stupid. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's a bullshitter. But if you're some socialite, midwit with, a few drinks in you, you might be like, oh shit, this guy, because he kind of talks in a bullshitter sort of way. So if you aren't like trying to be a critical thinker in any way, you can get easily taken away by the guy if you're kind of stupid. But yeah, I just find it funny that like as you're describing this like Epstein, you're like, yeah, this is like if Epstein wrote this.
Man, and when you watch the film, it's so crazy because this is basically it comes first in the form of a memory erasing perfume, and I think the name that was given to it was Desideria, something to that effect, and it was left in all the rooms of the girls, and the girls kept waking up and not remembering the night before. They would like consume basically some sort of DMT or ayahuasca of some kind with snake venom involved. No. I'm sorry. The snake venom was actually the antidote, which is why Slater King was having all of his staff just slaughter all the snakes who naturally inhabited the private island, because apparently they provided the venom, which was an antidote to the memory loss of this alleged chemical substance that he apparently even discusses at one point with a psychiatrist or a therapist, how the perfume could be used for therapeutic benefits, which is fascinating considering how much we see parallels within the Epstein emails and files and things like that. So when you see them like waking up with dirt under their fingernails and clear signs of like struggle, right? Like, and not having the ability to piece together exactly what took place and transpired, but always remembering the night would go black every time, and they were almost behaving like witches and almost like snakes slithering around through the woods, but being chased like a human hunt. And as I recall,
did you see the email between Rothschild and her and Ariane de Rothschild saying that, like a thrilling hunt, the old man or something like that? It's like, I don't know what they mean. It could have a second meaning, but it's just anyways.
And you remember the Kincora scandal, and just as far as the human hunting parties that I reference, and how they were arranged, and how basically Detective I forget the Scotland Yard detective that essentially helped expose a lot of this as well. But it's fascinating stuff, and so yeah, I think. There's no way, especially the symbolism involved in the film. There's like a red rabbit that provides the clue to the antidote, and it's very strange, but it's hard not to obviously notice. But anyway, what else do you have pulled up?
Oh, this is the other little thread I wanted to talk. I just thought it was funny. At least interesting to this idea, I guess. Like me and you did the math on this. We talked about this a little bit before the show, but let's look at this exchange. It is kind of funny, and it kind of relates to this. This is a 2018 email from Jeffrey Epstein and some redacted. It says, a friend of a friend Skyped me because they wanted some advice. She said she was working a sex trafficking movie. She said she met this really beautiful girl that used to be a sex slave for a guy on a private island. She met this pilot girl at Burning Man. I asked her if she'd ever met Epstein. She said no, she hadn't. I said, yes, you have. She almost fainted. He says, I'm confused. Never talked to her about anything to do with you, but she knows. Says redacted. Epstein says, no. She was telling me that she was doing a movie, sex trafficking, and met a sex slave. Some of these things, the way it transcribes over makes it weird. Which some people thought it was code, myself included. And apparently that's some sort of weird tech issue. Anyways, she had no idea that the Jeffrey she was talking to, me, was the Jeffrey she was talking about. Then he goes, I'm so confused, and I'll get more info, no worry, how's the puss? Which is a funny way to end it, but I mean, obviously the core here is that he's clearly implying he's talking to somebody in some sort of movie industry, some lady that has something to do with the movie, that has to do with sex, some sort of sex slave or sex trafficking, and some sort of sex slave they met that knew someone. And then he kind of essentially the idea sounds like he's implying that there's somebody that he's either the theme of some movie or is the actual character, and he somehow talked to them as like, yeah, that's me. And so like that, which we broke this down. We were like, oh shit, could that possibly be Blink Twice? But this was December 2018. Early production started, I think, in 2022. The movie came out in 2024. So like, we think maybe it could have been somebody in like some sort of pre-production, like writing or something, possibly, but probably not the same movie. But either way, interesting nonetheless, I think. Yeah.
It's hard not to imagine that they have Hollywood scriptwriters very much compromised and within the framework of the network. And if you remember, as far as, that reminds me, there's a very short clip of a Hollywood mogul who sits on the commission in Los Angeles for that's apparently bringing the Olympics to LA, and is very has a very close relationship with the mayor, Karen Bass, and it's crazy stuff. But it's at least a measure of some minimal accountability that obviously doesn't matter whatsoever because there won't be any legal charges. But the point being, though, is that I can see a world where a potential script writer who was hatching the idea and would present it to the rest of the writers and producers, who would very much be willing to consider pursuing that concept. And then this developing over the course of 2018 to 2022, that's not very long, but it's plenty of time to write a script and get the just kind of like the project in its infancy and foundationally speaking, and I do think that the overlap with Blink Twice, you have, I remember a scene where basically the best friend of the girl who was seduced by Slater King, by Channing Tatum's character, and brought to the island, she brings her friend that she works with that's basically just the staff at like this event center that Slater King was hosting an event at, and so he notices the main character, this black waitress, and then she brings her friend along with her. It's like the girl from Arrested Development is basically the actress who plays the friend character. And so it turns out that they're experiencing the same things, but then essentially the friend gets bitten by one of the snakes that are, not domesticated, but that are domestic to this private island, right? As far as the inhabitants, whatever, naturally. And so she gets bit by a snake, and then she has these memories flood back into her conscious mind, and she remembers the sadistic abuse that she experienced and the traumatic gang rapes and things of that nature. And she has like this near the pool. They have this basically this interaction that's kind of revealing to all the girls, but they all keep trying to kind of talk her down and have her just come back to earth and as far as like her emotional reaction to it all. And so then Channing Tatum's character obviously discovers that she had woken up to some of the abuse that had transpired, and then even tried to tell her friend. And so he effectively murders her that night, right? The friend, and at least him and his network of prominent perpetrators. And so I'll never forget basically the next day, the main character remembers her friend and says, "Where's Jess?" I think that was the girl's name. And the other girls look at her and say, "Who's Jess?" They completely forgot this person ever even existed, right? And just the kind of reflection of how useful and efficient this mind control induced amnesia drug was in obviously activating the memory loss, and then having the later on in the film, obviously they start to reveal to you you're no longer in that perspective of being drugged as a victim, and you're actually witnessing it from the side of the perpetrators. And it's so it might have already been when the main character woke up to it all and stopped taking the drug. But we've talked about scopolamine so often, right? The devil's breath. I mean, more than once we've discussed it on the show. and how it's been utilized in organized crime, and even the CIA has like direct references to utilizing it in the field operationally, in terms of like actually influencing a priority target to completely become vulnerable and entirely suggestible to whatever they would choose to have this person carry out. It's a Manchurian drug, basically. I mean, they would. There's so many different South American cases that tie in the cartels utilizing scopolamine, and just having some girl dose you at a bar and basically slip you a dose of scopolamine, and then take you to an ATM and have you empty out your bank account, and you would totally go through with it. This is how vulnerable you become psychologically under this apparent chemically induced it's fascinating stuff, but I'll shut up.
It also sounds like an excuse for blowing all your money at the strip club.
Yeah, hell yeah, it does, man. I don't know what happened. I drank something. I totally forgot.
What's up, your mom? We got one of the patrons joining us. This is a perk you guys get if you are not a poor and you support the show. If you are a poor, you can support the show by liking, sharing, subscribing, all that. And we'll still love you all the same. I'm a poor. That's why I do this. So no shame. But your mom, pleasure to have you back with us. What's up, dude? Appreciate your support. And I'm sure you have plenty to add to the show. If anything, we almost need you guys right now. We need guidance. Me and Austin are lost in a sea of schizophrenia. And so we need a lighthouse to guide us back in with a, what do you want to talk about, dude? We could talk about everything right now. There's too much to talk about.
Yeah, I don't think
What's
I'm
up,
the
man?
one to help. I don't think I'm the one to help guide you guys out of schizophrenia.
No, your mom's not the one.
No, you aren't.
No, dude. But I had one document to add. I'll just keep it short. Epstein's home decorator was trying to suggest that he use paintings of this artist Serrano, which Metallica used for their album covers Load and Reload, and those album covers contained images of urine, blood, and semen. And then I put, like that was the album cover for Metallica. It's like I put it in the private chat if you want to pull it up. The actual
sure
album
we can show
covers.
semen, blood, and piss on screen, I think.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's on the fucking album cover. Like, fuck off, YouTube.
I will admit that it looks pretty gnarly. I'm not gonna lie. Like semen, blood, and piss looks pretty dope together in that way. But it kind of turns me off once I know what it is. But
Yeah,
go on.
just like the whole spirit cooking kind of thing, where that's what the OTO guys use. And then this Serrano artist is also famous for this art exhibit in '87 or something called Piss Christ, where he submerged a crucifix with Jesus on it in a vat of his own urine and sold it for like 270 grand. And then another interesting piece about this artist is that he photographed or he did a portrait for Epstein in April of 2019, right before he got arrested. So very, very sus characters, and just the spirit cooking shit freaked me out. So figured I'd share.
100%.
I get it. You're not an art enjoyer. Yeah, that's sure is something.
Man, that all that I think of with this is the satanic occult aspect of it all, and how much it actually does factor into the network. And I saw that report, man, of Epstein allegedly ordering that Kabbalistic sex magic book that was written by an occultist named Donald Michael Craig. And I go and I read one of his articles. And this guy is a new ager in the same vein of a Michael Aquino, let's say, right? It just resonates exactly what that ideology and that new age occultist agenda is attempting to manifest and also, I think, inject into the younger generation, right? Who are very much willing to at least pursue an alternative path. And I think that leaves them very much open and vulnerable to this potential reality of almost embracing levels of occultism in the wrong. I mean, any sort of embracing occultism is absolutely the wrong way to approach your life, in my opinion. And I think as many people have basically started to adopt neo-pagan beliefs and things of that nature, and try and interpret some of these ancient deities as if they are almost ethically sound, or even a superior god to consider. Not only worshiping but practicing and engaging in the sort of ideology that they represent.
Exactly.
That's
Well,
dangerous.
Odin's literally the god of the gallows. Like, he literally rules. Like, you feed him war, like, which is chaos, and from that he weaves magic. He gets a order out of chaos. So, it is.
They're legitimately trying to shape culture and trying to shape the youth. I mean, Ghislaine was running Reddit. Epstein's running fucking 4chan. Like, it's a strategy that they're using to inject these ideas into the culture, so it's easier to, control. And just his whole relationship with this rabbi Mark something or other, who's like a very famous Kabbalistic scholar, and how he's talking about like how the Jewish soul is different, and you need different soul. You need a different toolkit. Like, you can't fix a Ferrari with the Ford toolkit, I think is the exact quote. Like, the rabbi trying to equate like a Jew's soul with a Ferrari. I mean, they really do believe that they're superior, and I think that's insane. And they're trying to use these ancient ideas, like you said, Austin, like this idea of like becoming their own god, and like this whole belief that like there is the potential to reincarnate as a god. And those are these Kabbalistic ideas. So the deeper that you read into the Talmud and the Sefer Yetzer and all these, fucking horseshit books, occult, like that's literally the point. Like, you're supposed to get reborn as a god.
Yeah, man, that is grounds for just in complete and total manipulation, and finding yourself facilitating something, just legitimately helping facilitate the most darkest and sinister agenda in modern human civilization. It's like to imagine this network as not being one of the most prolific pedophile, predator, child sex trafficking international networks that have ever existed. Then we're again, the overlap, it's too much to dismiss. And I see, meanwhile, right, the fact that we're discussing this Hollywood factor to the involvement and implications in the files. I mean, the conversation between Woody Allen and Epstein is straight up cannibalistic. And you also, isn't it? And you also, and by the way, man, I mean, Woody Allen, the Roman Polanski, like these people are just like, it's astonishing to me, the level of the vanguard of old Hollywood, that isn't already understood for people to watch like a Jack Nicholson film and like Jack Nicholson as a person.
It's
like
disgusting.
That's disgusting. Exactly.
I mean, the dude bought the fucking house after the guy died and had it demolished, like trying to hide what was in there. Like, Roman Polanski raped that girl at Jack Nicholson's fucking house, dude. Like,
exactly. The golden penetrators, they were all just like the most, hedonistic was not the term to use, honestly, as much as they tried to dismiss it and justify it as just like this hippie hedonistic lifestyle, which is just disgusting
it's not think. New, dude. It's just not new. Like you said, that's the old vanguard, and back then it was film, right? Like Dana Duda, shout out Dana, she freaking pulled out that like Roman Polanski was discovered in Poland and like brought over. Like he had like intel ties to go push these narratives of hedonism. I mean, that's exactly what Ghislaine and fucking Epstein are doing,
Yeah.
And it's the same fucking story, dude. Nothing changes. Like, they blackmail them and they push these dumb agendas on these kids. They poison the fucking culture, so it's easier to control and steer. Don't protest fucking Vietnam, Goyim. Like, war is great. Go take drugs instead. Like, don't protest the genocide in fucking Gaza, dude. Go fucking worry about these stupid files that already happened, and we're not even going to give you all of them. Fucking
it really is so bizarre to me. I always struggle to wrap my head around the philosophy of the elite, because especially from me, I've talked about this before, that like my philosophy is technically sort of like an egoism or something. So it is, in a sense, I am kind of like I do believe in like the idea of like concentric circles going out for me, the things I care about most. I care most about my family. In a certain ultimate sense, but this might be icky to some people, but I do care about myself the most, my experience. But part of that is my family and things like that, the things that I find to be, I guess most people think would be wholesome things. Like kind of in the Ayn Randian sense, I get satisfaction out of that. This is a fulfillment. Whereas to some degree, everyone likes a little bit of hedonism, I guess. And, everyone likes to, smack the old lady on the ass and stuff like that. But it is this bizarre, whatever the hell it is, this mentality they've created that they do. It is this weird self-worship shit, but in this distorted way, and that but it's not gonna. I mean, you look at these people and they're clearly not happy people. I don't know. These cannot be fulfilled human beings. I mean, yes, this is this roller coaster you ride. I'm sure the hedonism is fun. You get your rocks off occasionally. Everyone likes to, mess with substances or done crazy things in the past, but it doesn't really measure up to having a family or I don't know, being there for just those things that come in day out that you build over long periods of time. Totally. Hell, even from an economic standpoint, it's high time preference, low time preference. This is withholding satisfaction. You don't always need immediate satisfaction to have some sort of long-term satisfaction or to provide for yourself in the future. So you can all look at this in selfish terms. And I don't know, for me, it is just such a distorted, it's almost sad in a certain way. If it wasn't for the fact that fuck these people, it is kind of sad because it is I guess they're sort of chasing the crux of whatever it is, that rat race that I guess we're sold to as human beings. That this is sort of what you're that is the pure unadulterated version of that, and you're it's gross, but yeah,
they're victims. It's Comment Mama just made a good comment in the chat. These people sell their own children into the MK programs and turn them all into these psychopaths. I mean, that's true, dude. These people that are doing this shit, it is sad. They're all victims. They don't know the joy that you have with your family, Jose. Because they got abused when they were kids, and they got brought up to believe that happiness is the fucking kind of car you drive, or it's
the feeling when you come or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stupid, dude. They're all fucking victims. Fuck the feds.
Did you guys not see the crazy connection to Epstein significantly pushing forward the trans movement, the transgender agenda?
Yeah.
Holy shit. So he legitimately sent some sort of imagine this, right? A legitimate convicted child sex trafficker telling a biologist, an expert biologist, to produce research on transgender biology or I cut your funding. It's insane. And then if you look into exactly what the documentation in the Epstein files, really, there's basically 6 documents that were released over the course of January and February that directly draw in Epstein and this private correspondence that he had, connecting him directly to the key institutional transgender medicine figures that were apparently. So it shows him funding the surgeon who built America's first comprehensive academic transgender surgery program at Mount Sinai. It shows him commissioning and financing research into transgender biology as well, obviously, as I just mentioned. And they show him circulating the topic among individual perpetrators, including Bill Gates, a shitload of different MIT individuals who were affiliated with MIT, which obviously drew my attention in terms of just so many different examples. Even the fact that Tamerlan Tsarnaev allegedly killed that cop outside of MIT, if I remember correctly. But I could be wrong. I don't think so.
They gave him a mangina. That's what it was at the root of it all.
But also Obama's former White House counsel during the exact same period of time where this very field of transgender science and ideology, that was being funded at this time and inserted into public consciousness in the culture war.
Kathleen Rumler. Which she's one of the most featured person in the files, by the way. So I think that's significant to remember, and that was one of Obama's former legal aides, or not aides, or legal advisors, or something. Whatever the top ones. But go on.
Right. No, it's just this is a window into how they consolidated the systematic entrenchment of this new age ideology that is now, I mean, what we consider the woke mind virus that is still.
Tavistock, dude. How is this
It's
not
Tavistock.
Tavistock?
Exactly. How is it not a major, just perfectly designed psychological operation, probably out of Esalen, the Esalen Institute or something, Tavistock 2.0 West? It's like this is what we're dealing with, and at this very same fucking time, man, we're witnessing all of these various examples of, like, for one, there was one biotech company that apparently the Zorro Ranch, the owner of Zorro Ranch, right, Don Huffines or whatever, however you pronounce his name. Yeah, so he had a biotech company that used cardiac cells from baby hearts. And so apparently under 30 days old for tissue cell sourcing. This is what was happening. So this is an individual directly linked to Zorro Ranch and the baby making factory. And how are we not supposed to obviously just, the speculation is too hard to set aside, because obviously it's all we can do at certain points of some of this evidence.
Did you didn't happen to mention the other little thing about this Don Huffines guy that's significant about him?
I don't think I did. No.
Did you even know this? He owns the Zorro Ranch now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
guy-
did.
the guy-
I
okay.
mentioned that. Yeah.
Oh, you
It's
did mention it. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm a little
No, you're
loopy
good.
still. I didn't get much sleep the past week. So I was like,
Dude,
did you
all
mention
good.
that, or just mention his name? And I caught that. I was like, okay. I also wanted to show the physiognomy of this guy. He just looks like I don't know, something.
Yeah.
I don't
Tell
know.
me
He
that
just-
guy's not a
yeah.
pedophile, or at least a sinister abuser of children. It's hard not to imagine.
But yeah.
Hey,
anyway,
how
sorry.
much?
Yeah, I didn't realize he had some connection to trying to make bussy too.
Hell yeah, man! And if you tie that directly in with that cannibalistic conversation between Woody Allen and Epstein, I mean, this is through iMessage. They're having this conversation, and it was July of 2018. Strange. It kind of fits perfectly with the timing of what you were just discussing in terms of the pre-production of a potential sex trafficking film that reflects directly on Epstein. But yeah, what did they say in this conversation from 2018? He didn't just cause heartburn, he ate them. Hearts. At least I'm thinner. Because you also eat the bones, providing fiber. I don't like waste. So this is supposed to be a joke, is how we're supposed to embrace it and interpret this. But it also seems like if you pair that with the baby making factory aspect of Zorro Ranch and what was being conducted there, yeah, it's just hard not to imagine. This is, and by the way, hold on, let me pull this just because I think the picture, I wanted to show you the picture. This is something I wanted to show
What do you got?
last night on the Pizzagate episode, just briefly, because I felt like what it represents is essentially like Sweeney Todd human meat pies, right? And this was posted on Rachel Chandler's Instagram before it went private, right? And obviously you have her as the recruiting manager for Wayfair and everything. We've talked about the CCTV footage and all that shit. But the
Rachel
point
Handler,
being,
the child handler, yeah.
Rachel Chandler, the child handler, the connections to Diddy, Nexium, all of this, right? This was on her Instagram that went private as Pizzagate went public. Tell me that's not a meat pie, a human meat pie, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, those
Come
are little
on,
hearts,
those
but
are
like
organs,
obviously
yeah.
that's a playing on it. Yeah, well, those are hearts, but yeah,
100%.
But I mean, those are
These are
yeah.
hearts, yeah, and
Yeah.
that in itself is like, obviously this doesn't mean much, but it's still strange. And then you have the red slippers, which are always relevant as far as the symbolic nature of these child sex trafficking scandals. So
Alex Soros, baby.
Alex
Real quick,
Soros.
Ramsey, you mentioned the Zorro Ranch, and I guess this kind of fits thematically into all this. Look at this. Look at this email. Let's read this one real quick. This Ramsey posted this. Ah, damn it! Give me a second. It says,
Shout out
this is
William
from
Ramsey, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shout
love
out my homie from Sarah K. Redacted. It's redacted to who it's from. It says, wanted to make sure you guys knew J.E. Jeffrey Epstein told Wendy to get rid of all the show animals, in quotes, on the ranch. The miniature horses, pigs, turkeys, goats, Diablo, etc. Wendy said she will try and sell what she can. I don't think J.E. much cares what happens to them, as he said to just kill them. I think the only thing we're keeping is the chickens for the eggs and the horses, which someone can ride. Which sure, perhaps this can refer to I don't, perhaps actual livestock they had there, but I mean, I've seen some people here, and some of these people saying they've looked at this, they've never seen any livestock, didn't look like a farm. So I don't know. This could be just referring to animals, but
Sure.
he wants to get rid of them before he comes back for some reason. I don't know. I don't run a farm, but it does seem odd to me that I would send an email to my staff and say, just kill all my fucking livestock. I don't know. You think there might be a little more sophisticated something? Why are we culling all of your fucking animals? I don't know.
How does this directly line up with the woman who, in the emails, accused the John of God cult leader of rape and then mysteriously fucking kills herself at some sort of, home of a perpetrator, in my opinion, or at least, connected into the Zorro Ranch network? Because in the email, it says redacted spoke of this going on at Zorro Ranch. She has said on record that Epstein offered her money to do this. Birth babies for black market use.
Yikes.
I mean, what are you going to do with that, right? And now, as we've just provided and illustrated these diabolical and disturbing connections to a baby making factory in New Mexico, and well, I will say there's one positive note on this, a silver lining to some extent, because I noticed that New Mexico lawmakers apparently unanimously approved a $2.5 million truth commission, which obviously we know what commissions are. They're cover-ups. This is who orchestrates the cover-up. So I would imagine the individuals who will be named to this commission will be entirely compromised. But they have subpoena power, allegedly, and to probe trafficking and sexual assault at the Zorro Ranch property specifically. And so we could have potential testimonies that could lead to prosecutions or things of that nature. So there is an avenue to, some kind of legal accountability. But yeah, I mean, the 2019. No, I'm not, brother. Don't get me wrong. I'm under no false illusion, But at the same time, the 2019 email about Zorro Ranch, right? Epstein and Maxwell allegedly burying 2 foreign girls, and then a land commissioner requested radar and cadaver dogs. And this legitimately happened like over 7 years ago, right? Wow. And so, yeah, the fact that there's so much different tangible evidence that we can tie directly into these properties, and let alone the lotteries that they won and things of that nature. I mean, my God, this was the protected property, I think, more above all, even the private island, perhaps, because it was probably easier. It's probably easier for them to control, in terms of who the fuck can go there, but
well, I don't know about that. I have a little bit of a segue, a little hard segue there. I did want to probe you at some point. If you've gone down the ocean, the Ghislaine and Aunt Jeffrey are living happily under the ocean, under the sea. If you've gone down that rabbit hole, it's a little bit of a smattering of two theories, actually 3. The Jeffrey Epstein's still alive, although these kind of are irrelevant. The Jeffrey Epstein's still alive, but the Ghislaine's still alive. Or not alive, but Ghislaine is not in prison, and she got Mike Myers
hey, she looked like she got
in her
switched
place.
out, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people pointed out that looks legit like Mike Myers. That does not look like Ghislaine. That looked like I had a fun time goofing around. Like it's almost like the joke of like the morning before and the morning after, or the night before and the morning after, kind of like the like, oh wow, it's like Ghislaine. You're like the sexy one. You're like, look how hot. And then the next morning, it's like whatever the fuck that thing is they dragged out for the deposition. But anyways, if you do you remember how she married? No, actually, she married. She was dating some other billionaire that got her into her ocean adventurism phase.
Oh yeah.
If you dug into that, and that's where she started.
Who was this individual? Do you remember his
name? Wait, I covered this morning. I can't remember his name. He's a little bit kind of he's semi-relevant. He's not really super that big of a deal. The thing is that she kind of dated him. It looks like in retrospect that were they really ever even really an item? It was almost seemed like I don't know what the exact purpose of what was going on there, but she kind of got into some of the ocean stuff. He had a yacht that she let him use. That she's like essentially, basically seems like she's allowed to use semi-regularly. It had like what did they rename it? I don't know. I covered a bunch of this morning, but either way, the idea is that she from there got into her like ocean phase, started that Terra Mar organization. I don't know if you saw that, where she was getting into like being the rich to like colonize the ocean or to take care of the ocean, which
sounded like some Elon Musk bullshit.
Yeah. And this bitch is like certified out the ass in submarine stuff. And apparently there's stuff in the files that shows like, for example, I guess Stephen Hawking, it looks like, I forget the specifics here, that he came over on a submarine. So they didn't actually, there were ways to transport people to and from the island without, because like you don't have to in a submarine. There's no like,
I knew they had submarine.
There's no tracking. Yeah. So there's not like on flights, you have logs and stuff. You don't have that in a submarine. And then also on top of that, there's all the trafficking, right. And then on top of that, with the ocean aspect in the submarine, it's not just what you're seeing. And then you add into that all the tunnels, and then there's that one hatch that everyone points to that like comes out of some room somewhere, and a lot of people thought that's where they're chucking bodies. Yeah, but it's like that was a submarine access.
Exactly.
Or so like, and it's like there's probably so many caverns and different things. There's so much shit that, I mean, this is legit like weird futuristic nonsense. Like there literally could be like underground labs. There's been all sorts of fucking all sorts of maintenance that people have seen done on Greater St. James and Little St. James. All sorts of talk of tunnels. So,
hey, brother. Let alone that 330,000 gallons of sulfuric acid or something that they purchased the very day the FBI for the island, the very day the FBI apparently opened the investigation into the sex trafficking allegations, which is way too convenient as far as that timing, right? So, dude,
what
are you gonna do there? What's up?
Zorro is some of the chat point out Zorro is fox in Spanish.
Oh my god!
Which I don't know, maybe that doesn't mean anything, but Fox Island
means something, dude.
I don't know. And then you think about, maybe I'm reaching here, but there's always a symbolism of wolves, and I mean, obviously foxes and wolves are different things. But if I was to get a little bit out of my skis here, I would think that wolves would maybe just be like your Gen Pop pedophile for symbolism, whereas the fox might be the kind of the more the crafty fellers of the group, the foxes. I don't know, you got thoughts there? Your mom sounds like you had something there.
Sorry, there's like a gematria thing where I think in Hebrew, like the letters equal 666, or 3 foxes equals 666 because it reduces to 6. But I think you might be onto something, dude.
Interesting. No, I don't know why the hell I thought 330,000. It's 330 gallons. That would be a shitload of sulfuric acid.
555 gallon drums, dude.
Well, they claim six something. I forget that, but anyway, 6 drums, I think. But either way, it's too much. And also somebody pointed out whenever I did cover that story of the 330 gallons, that it's 33. Once again, and so it's just difficult not to recognize.
He was even doing a call out randomly, like, how many gallons do you want? He goes, I really only need like 25. Let's do 33.
Let's do 330 though, because that would fit perfectly for all the schizos. Oh man, this is why this show is amazing, because schizo bros truly do assemble, and I hope we can, I don't know, come together and work through these ideas objectively for, honestly, as long as possible, right? I hope this is an eternity that we essentially, as far as my lifetime, that we can engage in this sort of dynamic. So once again, it's kind of like echoing back to the original version of like Art Bell, right? And having like a call-in portion and things of that nature to a conspiracy parapolitical show that's like legitimately trying to peel back the layers. And yeah, there's something there, man. And I think it's very valuable. But anyway, what else we got?
Pete Thomas here saying we used to clean masonry. We used that to clean masonry installations, which I forget what the claim Epstein, because there was a cover in the emails. There was like a lot of people point out it doesn't seem legit, but he's saying We use that to clean masonry installations, but a little goes a long way. That's a lot of acid, not for cleaning, but for dissolving. So he's saying that seems like more than the cleaning amount, which I believe, if I recall correctly, that's what they were some sort of cleaning of something on the island. Because I don't know, I guess you could somewhat understand maybe large. Well, I'm just saying, if I had a fucking island, it's not that crazy that I might be buying some chemicals in bulk, and there might be uses for them.
Children and eating them on that.
But
island.
I will, yeah, I know, yeah. If I was raping and each other, but now I will say, at the very least, why the fuck is Jeffrey Epstein dealing with that? Like. That should be something your pool guy is handling. It might be like, hey, can you at the smallest maybe someone might hit you up like, hey, are you cool to clear this amount or regular? But even that would probably be an unsaid thing. That would be some sort of regular, cleaning or somebody. Your lawn guy or somebody would take care of that.
Muric acid for cleaning pools, not sulfuric. Like it's fucking acid. But that's I'm gonna punch out, guys. I'm being loud and I'm at an Airbnb. So shout out to the bros.
All right, we'll let you go, brother. Appreciate you joining us. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fuck the feds.
Fuck the feds. John Black, you want to join us? I see you back there. I saw you talking about want to join us. If so, we'll probably have you be the last one coming and then get out of here. If you got anything to add, bud. All right, John's coming on. What's up, brother? I think we'll probably finish out with you unless you got anything else for Austin. Like I said, though, we're drowning in schizophrenia, so this is what these callers in the chats are good for to redirect us, because every little thing I keep thinking of like another little rabbit hole to jump into, because I'm like, this email, that email, this email, that email.
Oh, for sure. But the only thing that I did consider to be like a very, kind of timely and prominent story that's going under the radar is that Ohio State University sex scandal that ties directly into the Epstein network and Les Wexner. And it's fascinating to see how much influence they truly did have in that institution. So, but anyway, what do you got, your mom? Or not your mom, I'm sorry, John. What's up, John?
Yeah, that's insulting.
My bad, dog.
What's up,
First
John?
of all, I would like to start with fuck the government.
Thank you.
So, Peter Thiel's dinner party brother, Daryl Cooper, on the him and Scott Horton's podcast was like, oh, that's used for a reverse osmosis filter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fucking faggot. Like seriously, fuck that guy. Like he shreds the little bit of credibility that he has for like doing decent work, just fucking schizomax with the rest of us. That's what, like, this limited hangout of these files, that's what it's for, man. Like, go fucking hog wild on that shit. We got 6 million documents, or 271,000, depending on how you do math. Fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, and at the exact same time, what has been effectively revealed is that Jeffrey Epstein, convicted child sex offender, paid Ohio State University and apparently paid directly the head of gynecology. He gave him quarterly payments of thousands of dollars over the years, right? And if you look into this, there's honestly extraordinary context to it. I couldn't even believe how much there were connections that seemed to kind of lay out that so if people aren't aware, there has been a very prominent scandal that has broken out on Ohio State University campus. And there's even examples and like footage. I think I saw Max Blumenthal post about it that basically showed these crazy kind of chaos on campus and all of these police that were fighting and clashing with demonstrators, right? And it seemed like there were a dozen or over a dozen arrests or something. And so when you understand that Les Wexner was basically donating like $200 million to Ohio State, and over the course of his relationship with the university, and he still apparently was on the board of OSU and everything else that's a part of a foundation that was pulling basically millions from Harvard for not banning students for justice in Palestine, right? Which I thought was interesting, considering how much that was a major, obvious culture war talking point, as far as how much there were, like protests on college campuses that were being cracked down on in terms of, they're anti-Semitic, when in reality they're just attempting to draw attention to the genocide actively ongoing in Gaza. And you also have Jim Jordan, which this is very important. Jim Jordan was a referee, okay, at the time, when he tells one of the victims at Ohio State, no, I'm sorry, he was an assistant coach at the time, but there's a referee that apparently told assistant coach Jim Jordan that a team doctor had
congressman?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
That's
okay.
no, this guy is compromised. So a referee had told Jim Jordan, while he was the assistant coach, that a team doctor had masturbated in front of him in the shower at OSU. And Jim Jordan's response was, yeah, we know. That doctor directly would be responsible for molesting 177 male students. How insane is that, right? And when you look at a little bit deeper, I saw Derek Brose write an article about this, and essentially you have these athletes and survivors who are protesting and demanding that Les Wexner comply with the subpoena to appear for questioning for this ongoing litigation related to sex abuse by a former OSU team doctor named Richard Strauss. So this is the guy. The protesters were survivors who alleged to have been sexually abused by Strauss from the late 70s through the 90s. So in December, you had an OSU Board of Trustees meeting, and the victims of Strauss protested in the back of the room, holding signs reading, "Where's Wexner?" and posters with images of Jeffrey Epstein and Les Wexner together. Wexner served on the Board of Trustees from 1988 to 1997. This is during part of the period of time when Strauss is apparently responsible for committing the abuse. So he was also the chairman from 96 to 97, and he served a second term on the board from 2005 to 2012. So this is, when you have the students protesting and being forcefully removed by police and everything, and obviously, I mean, you have apparently the Ohio State University Medical Center is called the Wexner Medical Center and bore his name since 2012. So just to understand that in general, I mean, you have the lawyers of the abuse victims, right, who are telling a federal judge that Wexner's private security has repeatedly prevented process servers or servicers from serving him with the subpoena. They also were making the argument that Wexner's attorney had refused to accept the subpoena on Wexner's behalf. And so the attorneys have been pleading with the judge for an alternate way to deliver the subpoena. But the judge has refused to even rule on the request yet. So it looks like this is just entirely, controlled from the beginning. And by the way, we have one additional factor to the falling out and the consequences and results of this. Because and Glenn Greenwald said as much. He basically tweeted that video of a professor at Ohio State named Luke Perez. He was put on leave after he assaulted a cameraman, which is basically a content creator, internet sleuth type of guy, probably a student who was playing that game, right? Of like, oh, I got you, with the Epstein call out. And so naturally, as many of these, corrupt and compromised perpetrators react in a very revealing way. So this is the president of the university, by the way, who the videographer was trying to question, and he refused and apparently was given a little bit of pushback and pressure, and obviously by all of these protests, he's receiving a significant pushback in terms of refusing to remove Les Wexner's name from the buildings at Ohio State. And so he called it specifically cancel culture. So he's the fucking guy, the guy that in the video that actually gets directly, kind of addressed with this, and then has this strange physical reaction to it all.
Dude, like,
No.
Hold on, I'm sorry. It's only like 26 seconds.
Okay.
Just one more. No. No. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa!
Oh, God! I told you not to put that in my face. I didn't.
Dude, you can't listen to what he does too after.
No, I'm not going to ask you again. Don't touch me. Don't touch me, motherfucker. Who the fuck put your hands on me, sir? You put your hands on me, sir. God damn, dude. You shoved that camera into my face, sir.
So it's, man, come on now. Like, have we not seen this so many different times where a person is actually, called out publicly and, directly engaged with something that they should obviously have to answer to, and instead of just walking away, they overreact and they almost reveal themselves for what they are in a real way. And I just see him playing that victim card of you shoved the camera in my face. And again, it's like too many times I've witnessed this. And talk about someone who is completely just has no moral or ethical bone in their body or foundation to rely on to be someone who just can stand up in the face of darkness. And that's what we consistently come back to is the level of darkness within the context of these revelations, and how much people are just kind of turning a blind eye, and as much as it has made an impression, man, it's sad to see, right?
John, what you gotta say, bud?
Man, I've seen that video a couple times, and it's such bitch coded, right? And like Austin said, these people are so fucking transparent with their lack of morals. And it's just like, I can't understand it and I can't fathom it. And I just want to purge society of all of them. But I don't even know how to go about that, Like,
yeah.
And the fact that like nobody's being held account for it just makes it entirely worse.
Mm-hmm.
And my goodness.
Names, addresses. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean,
dox the shit out of the pedophile.
Damn it, Austin. That's all I was saying.
we just need like a fucking, little, just a couple Marvin Heemeyers and some killdozers and,
some Uncle Teds.
Sometimes reasonable men do unreasonable things,
You saw Ted almost got an Epstein guy. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God for Uncle Ted, man. That's so funny.
For those who aren't aware, that apparently one of the attempted victims of Ted K, the Unabomber, was some guy, I guess, is somewhat, I don't even know the specifics of how he's implicated, but he's one of those physiognomy check ones. He legitimately looks like the most like you'd think he'd be in there, and he's in there in them files. I don't know the specific context. Maybe he did nothing. Maybe he did a lot of things, but it is kind of funny that that's who Ted K went after. But whatever. Obviously, I don't necessarily think Ted K knew, but perhaps he did. Maybe there's a deeper story there.
Know,
but John, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You were going.
He probably fucking Googled it, right?
Yeah.
Like these people deserve to have their fucking arms blown off.
Well, luckily we got some of the Epstein class that's going to make it better by dedicating some of the places these awful things happen to Christ. Let's watch this real quick.
Now you have plans to take something evil and bring it into goodness, bring it into light and positivity. Tell us about that plan.
Well, of course, that is the main reason I bought the property. This was obviously a dark place, and we wanted to put light in a dark place. It always shines the brightest when you do that. My faith is so strong in Jesus, and it really is. And I'm going to make this, the plan all along is to make this property into a Christian retreat. As a matter of fact, it's under construction today. And that's our goal. That's why we named it San Raphael. We named it Saint Raphael, as you probably know, an archangel, and his what he does and helps people with is healing and being the healer, and also blessing those that are traveling. And we think that's really germane to this property.
Now you have plans.
Okay, so it's also dedicated. Oh my God. So it's dedicated to some saint, Raphael. I don't know. I guess Catholics chime in. It sounds like he's saying of like lost or liminal spaces type deal. Did Austin leave? What the fuck? But yeah, it looks like someone in the if you guys any Catholics in the chat, sound off. But yeah, it sounds like they're talking about San Rafael is what they named it after. But I don't know. What do you think, John? This is a lot to process. I just found this as you guys were talking. This is the guy who's talking about the Zorro Ranch guy. Apparently, he's turning this motherfucker into a church retreat. Which, I mean, these, like I said, I was kind of scratching at there. The symbolism of a San Rafael, which is for like healing and like it sounds like lost travelers type deal. That sounds like a weird as above so below type thing to me. But whatever. Maybe I'm a little schizophrenic and reaching. So I don't know how convenient though that there's gonna be all sorts of construction going on. And I don't know, something about this. Isn't this a guy you were saying a minute ago was making helping make bussies out of cow hearts or whatever?
Exactly.
Or pig hearts?
Yeah, no, out of baby hearts, man.
Baby hearts. So he's made baby heart bussy. That's
So-
and this guy's
Did
just
it say
cares so much
Saint
about
Germain?
Jesus.
Did he say
Yeah.
Saint Germain when I was gone? So there's a
No, not
Neil
Saint Germain,
Pagan-
Saint
Saint
Raphael. Saint Raphael.
So
okay. I
Rapha-
just saw people in the chat saying Saint Germain. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Raphael was in the book of Enoch. He commanded God to bind one of the fallen angels, Azazel, which is mentioned in the King James Version of the Bible. But in other versions, Azazel is translated as scapegoat.
That's hilarious.
So yes,
Very
healing
fitting.
healing and oversight over human affliction, but he also helped Enoch in his cosmic journeys. So there's nothing nefarious going on here, nothing to see.
All
Just
the up and
some guy who bought some evil fucking land and is
'Cause he
probably going
loves
to do
Jesus.
probably going to
Yeah.
do some great shit on it. Excellent reporting, Matt Gage. Faggot.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great way to end it. I can't think of a better finish off. Matt Gates faggot. But appreciate you joining us, John. Go ahead, some final words. I think you left it on a perfect note. Why fuck with it? But go on.
Yeah, mic drop, brother.
Oh well, I was going to drop the N word too, but
Oh
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
All right, well,
fuck it.
brother, appreciate you joining us. We'll let you go. Austin, it's been a pleasure joining you again this week. And I guess unless you have any, I missed you too. I was, I
Felt
had a
weird
lot
not
going
talking
on
to you for a few days. You know,
Man,
honestly, it did.
I put out one podcast last week. By the way, for those OGs of the show, I have Reed Coverdale coming on the Paywalled show tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Probably drop that one a little bit early because he's coming out of retirement, where he's going to be talking about all the things going on.
He's gonna start doing
but-
podcasts again.
No, I don't. I mean, I say a retirement. I mean, just like for this. So, like, I don't think he's coming back.
That's
but,
awesome, though.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted the everyman's take on what the hell is going on here. But and just check in with my homie. But Austin, it's a pleasure seeing you. Yeah, I was frazzled last week. I only put out like one episode I think, the whole fucking week. But I'm ready to get back into it, crank them out. Help me out, leave all the likes, do all the things. Austin, where can people do the likes and the things on your stuff? Where we're at?
Yeah, well, keep your head on a swivel, obviously, as always, and you know, beware of the pedophile protectors out there, like the Michael Tracys of the world, which you just take one screenshot of that man talking about basically just normalizing pedophilia and debating age of consent and claiming that, what did he even claim that essentially Virginia Giuffre was like not credible and the biggest liar or something that had spread widespread pedophilia. You know,
fantabulous, I think is what he's called there over and over.
Yeah,
again or
yeah,
something.
it was
a serial
ridiculous.
fantabulous.
calls her one of the biggest liars in history. Like, this is honestly, again, as I said, you take a screenshot of this man and imagine allowing your kids to be around him, right? It's very self-evident that if you're running this false narrative to try and protect these pedophiles in prominent places, then you're on the take, you're compromised, and you probably have engaged in sinister action and activities with underage children. But anyway, nothing but love. You already know that, brother, and same to you, and just all of you that joined us as always. And as far as I'm concerned, man, the Patreon, the best place to support me. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube. I think we just published episode 45 of whatever this is today. So we did that one last night. And I think me and Jacob are going to do part 2 of the Satanic Panic on Thursday. I think it is, if I didn't misremember. But either way, check it out and keep your eyes open for the next thing. And I'll catch you guys on the other side, man.
Hell yeah, brother. For those who want to support what I'm doing, leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, Rumble, any of the audio podcatchers, Twitter as well, at Tower Gang Jose. And this is the No Way Jose podcast because we stream to both of our platforms and distribute to all our different platforms here. Already Dead goes out on both of them. And if you want to support me the best way you can, you do that with money. I don't have the QR code. I got too used to pointing the QR code on my other streams. But you can go to patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. Get access to early episodes at the low level of $2. I got like 7 paywalled episodes right now. I've been really bad about putting them out publicly. I usually keep that around 4. And I do about 1 to 2 episodes per week paywalled for you guys. So I'll try to start cranking them out more for the poors, for the public, but the patrons, you guys are living high in the hog right now. But you also get access to the ad-free RSS feed. You get access to Telegram. You get access to the pre-show, post-show, and video calls. And me and Austin's weekly live call-in show, Already Dead, which you are watching right now, which is on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And I also a big shout out to my sponsors, which is the highest level of my Patreon. Is a big thank you for their support at my previous coach and Tower Gang, at Learn Toad, also at Brigadies, at ZOVRCK, at _Fazil, Tim Tell, Ajal, and Cleebold. Big fan of the show, Torme, I Wayne Tackles, One Hair, Carver Kids, No Free Lunch, Jack, Mark Vestibule, and Jacob Winograd of the Biblical Anarchy. I almost nailed that one. Jacob Winograd of the Biblical Anarchy podcast. I keep trying to see if I'm going to try out and do one of those like fast readers things one of these days. But with that, guys, we're out of here. I love you all. I appreciate your support. Pop in tomorrow in the morning, roughly 11 a.m. Eastern. Might be a little bit late tomorrow for the morning dump. And for the patrons, like I said, I have at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, I have Reed Coverdale joining. So, hey, if you want to be in the live chat, it'll be fun to talk to him. But with that, guys, we're out of here. Love you all. Bye-bye. Hang out for the post-show, people. And we're out of here. Bye-bye.